All right, guys, I'm gonna give you a really fast workout here, one set. And yes, it is possible to stimulate muscle growth with one set. If you guys caught my video on Mike Mentzer about how to build your biceps or train your biceps, it's possible, but you have to be willing to put the effort in. I wanna show you and take you through what that actually looks like. If you wanna adopt this, especially in times when you gotta get in and out of the gym and you don't wanna sacrifice, this is what we do. So today's a chest workout, all right, just doing chest. How do we do chest in one set? Again, utilizing a lot of Mentzer's principles. So the first ththing is you do have to warm up. So it's not technically just one set total. You do have to do some sort of a warm up. The first thing I do is get to the ground for a push-up. And like I said, I wanna bring value in this series to you to take you through my mind so that you know why we're doing what we're doing and you could actually shoot for the same thing. So for me, I'm doing a push-up, even though it's not gonna be one of the exercises that we do in the workout. And there's two ways to do a push-up as far as I'm concerned. The first way is to do it where you're just performing the movement so that I can warm up the wrists, the elbow, and the shoulders, right? Just by going through the excursion here on every rep, I'm starting to warm up these joints. Now there's the other way that I've talked to about doing a push-up for actual chest hypertrophy where we try to squeeze off the ground, shoulders back, down, squeeze up, engage the chest, really try to fire up the chest as the prime mover. That's not the purpose here. You're not trying to exhaust yourself before the actual main event. So I'm just looking to do my warm-up set. Again, not to failure here, but just get my joints feeling pretty loose. Okay, probably another 2 or 3. I can literally feel things literally starting to get warm, actually even to the touch, starting to warm up. Now, again, not fatigued, but I'm starting to feel like I'm at least ready to go. Now, the next thing I do is I start considering what is this set gonna look like? Well, the set, according to Mentzer, is broken down into 2 parts. There's a pre-exhaust exercise that comes first, that's more isolatory on the chest. And then there's the second half where I'm gonna use an exercise that incorporates that same chest, but has additional help, in this case, from the shoulders and the triceps. So our choices are gonna be here, a crossover, and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do it in a little bit of a unique way as a high to low. I'll explain why in a second. And then we're gonna do the dumbbell bench press, okay? Now, as far as the weights that you're choosing here, you have to start thinking ahead. I'm gonna choose a weight for that main event, one set, that's about 20% less than what I would use for a typical set of, let's say, 10 or 11 or 12 reps, okay? So for me, I'm gonna choose 80s as my working weight for this, knowing that, again, in a typical set, not pre-exhausted first, I would handle more weight, okay? Now, what I do though is take that exercise, because I have a second purpose for warm-up here. I'm gonna go about a little bit more than half of that working weight. So let's say 45s or so. I'm gonna do the actual exercise, because what I wanna do is feel comfortable when I've only got that one set. To get this right, I want to feel comfortable that I've grooved that exact movement, okay? So I take my 45s, and what I'm going for here, again, is not maximal chest stimulation. I'm trying to just make sure that I can find that groove of where I want these dumbbells. And I always tell you guys, the target point should be the lower outer chest right here. The touch point should be the lower outer chest. We're in the bottom of that line. And again, when I can keep my wrists stacked right below the dumbbells, and with the elbow below the wrist, I have a good strong position to press from. Okay, I also like to tilt those dumbbells up a little bit as I come up towards the top with just a little bit of a lift from the thumbs like that. Okay, now, that's it. Again, I feel like I'm in a good spot. This is where I'm gonna wanna press from when we start going here, and that's all I'm trying to accomplish, is get the movement ready and for me to feel good. Now, I know there'll be some objections about this style of training and whether or not it's even something that you want to try to do. When I'm done with this set, I will answer those objections and try to handle every single one of them that I know will likely come ahead of time. So now, I'm getting ready now for the actual workout. I don't need to do anything else. I'm already feeling loose, warmed up, I'm ready to go. If you need to do an additional set, I would go a little bit more up the rack. Again, if working weight was gonna be 80, I'd come up here maybe to the 55s or 60s and do one more set the same way. So what I'm trying to do with this exercise with a high to low is be a little bit respectful of the shoulder capsule, the anterior shoulder capsule. So if I were to turn this into just a regular fly from here, and again, you might be asking, didn't Mike Mentzer use a regular Arnold chest fly from the bench? He did. You can. If you want to substitute it here, you might. That's fine. I don't like the exercise. I think as a physical therapist, I don't like the stress it puts on the front of the shoulder, so I'm not doing it. And I don't like the fact that even with a fly here, this is a bit of a position where I could find myself in some of that anterior shoulder capsule distress if I had that extreme stretch back here, because you do want to try to get a stretch going. So what I do though is go from high to low so that I can get that stretch but not have all that shoulder capsule irritation or potential for that. So I think it's time to go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this down, all right? And we're getting ready to rock. The goal repetition here is 6 to 10, trying to choose a weight that will cause fatigue in the 6 to 10 rep range. If for some reason I undershoot that, you're still trying to go to all out failure. When I say all out failure, I'm gonna demonstrate it here because I want you guys to see what that's like. This is the secret to the effectiveness of this workout. I'm gonna come down and across. So it's gonna work both that sort of lower pec portion and of course the sternal portion of the pecs. So I'm going for that good hard contraction. Here's where I want to get every single ounce of effort on every rep. 5. Good slow eccentric. 6. 7. Most people would stop right here, okay? That's not how you perform these. 8. Oh my God. See, I'm already lit up. Hard on the eccentric here. 9. Little momentum if I have to. All right, that's it. Now, you don't take any rest time, minimal rest, heading right into the second part. This is literally it. This is the second part here. This is where you have to really push it. That low touch point. Already difficult. Slow eccentric. Oh God almighty. Literally fought for that last rep as hard as I could. That will be it. That would be it. Now, one consideration. If you weren't able to grind, I think I had a good grind there for about 2 to 3 reps, knowing that I went to absolute failure. If I didn't feel like I did and I went too suddenly to failure from that second to last rep to the last rep, you could do this. And I know this is not Mike Mentzer approved. I use it with my athletes and it works. I would grab an additional weight, just about half the weight, a little bit over half. So probably back to that warm-up weight of 45s. I come back in as a drop set. Because again, my goal here is to ensure that I go to absolute failure. And I want to make sure I do that. So if I hit it too fast, it could be that the heavier weight caused that to happen so quickly. But here with the lighter weight, I do have an ability to really squeeze through every rep, make sure I'm recruiting every last fiber that's available to perform the exercise. Get those good controls, slow eccentrics. I mean, this is brutal at this point. I've literally got nothing left. Slow eccentric. Nothing. So that will be optional if you felt like you had that left in you. Now, even then, if I had access to somebody who I was training with, like Jesse, I definitely would not have had to have done that drop set portion of it, because I could have just had him spotting me so that when I started to struggle concentrically on that positive portion of the rep, as you see here, he could have just been spotting me through that and allowing me to fight through yet another negative. This is something that Mike didn't use all the time because it is definitely a supremely challenging technique to apply with ultra high intensity, but now forced repetitions and negative only repetitions, but it will ensure that you maximally stimulate that muscle and get the hell out of the gym. So that being said, that's what the workout looks like. Now I start answering some of the objections that might come. Okay, so now let's talk about those objections, because I know you guys might have some questions. First of all, let me clarify. This is not how I'm advocating you got to run out and start training and never train any other way. What I'm trying to show you here is that by manipulating the variables of intensity, we can certainly drop volume way down and still have an effective dose that's required for building muscle. So the first thing would be, is this one set actually enough? And for that, I do want to defer to something Mike Mentzer said here, because I think it's actually very interesting.
On occasion, I've had a phone client ask, Mike, would it make a difference? Would it be the mistake to do a second set? You keep making such a big deal about doing one set. And I respond something to the effect that doing a second set is neither necessary nor desirable. In fact, it would be the biggest mistake you can make. Going from one set to two sets is literally the biggest mistake you can make, because going from 1 to 2, audience, is not merely a linear increase of 1 unit, 1 to 2. It represents a doubling, a 100% increase in the volume of the exercise. And remember, that's a negative. Even one set represents a negative, because insofar that you train at all, you make an inroad. Well, some people might say, well, Mike, if I do a second set, maybe I'll get a little bit more growth stimulation. But then I point out, whatever little bit extra growth stimulation, you made a doubly deeper recovery ability, so that negates any greater growth stimulation.
And what I like most about that is that if it is this idea physiologically that once we turn on that switch, that's what's required, that's the stimulus, and that the rest of that is supported by what we do outside the gym and supporting our recovery, it is very much enough because you've actually done enough to do that. And a lot of times when we train submaximally, and even far more submaximally than we think we are, we're not ever really flipping that switch effectively, or it takes us a lot of volume in order to do it. Because I said you can actually do this a lot of different ways. Lots of volume will do it, but will do it as efficiently, and when you're looking for a quick workout option, this could be exactly what you're looking for. The second thing, but Jeff, is this for beginners or intermediate or advanced? Who's this for? I would also say that this isn't really a good beginner technique, because it isn't necessary. You don't need to train at that level of intensity as a beginner in order to stimulate muscle growth. You could just walk by a weight sometimes and sneeze, and you'll get some muscle gains. You don't need those kind of techniques. However, at the advanced side of this, I think we have to start considering some of the other data that we have. We know that training at a sub-maximal effort is still going to provide you with muscle growth. However much of a difference, we still don't know exactly and can't quantify that, but it doesn't mean that you can't get gains by training at a lower intensity level. But I think we all can agree that it should be within 1 or 2 reps of failure. The good thing about advanced lifters is that they have the most ability to appreciate what that exact 1 to 2 RIR is and how it feels. So they know when they're truly there. I think a lot of us, though, a lot of people watching, fall into this middle category. I mean, a lot of people watching fall into that middle category. Even when we have quite a bit of experience lifting weights, we don't really know exactly what our true capacity is. And if you think you're putting 1 or 2 in the tank and you're actually saving 2 more than that because you're not really training all the way till failure, well, your 1 to 2 RIR becomes 4. And that becomes a sub-maximal effort and not a good stimulator of new muscle growth. So I think it really does an effective job for that big, large group in the middle, most of who are probably watching this video right now and could benefit from trying this at least for a time, just trying to switch over to this for a time. The third thing is this too intense for older guys and girls. Now, as one of those somewhat older guys, I will tell you, I believe it's actually the opposite. And as a physical therapist, I will tell you, I believe it's opposite and beneficial in another way, because it does save some of those rotations on the tire. Sometimes no matter how much load we have in our hand, Just the excursion alone through this joint over and over and over and over and over and over again, that can lead to some of the wear and tear on those joints. It just happens as we age. Well, if we can actually trade that off and take fewer repetitions, but increase the effect through higher intensity, I actually think this could be a much safer way for us to train as we start to get older. The fourth thing, does this workout only work if you're on steroids? I can 100% tell you that that's not the case. As a matter of fact, my first foray into this type of training was when I was younger, and I was looking for some way to get away from the 45-set bodybuilding magazine workouts I was doing, and by doing this and focusing more on my recovery, I was able to see a lot better gains, and I was stuck being a skinny hard gainer for a long, long time. Now, even as I age with lots of experience under my belt, still going back to these training methods as a natural lifter has only helped me, especially as I've been trying to recover from some of the injuries I discussed in other videos. Finally, and by the way, Mike Mentzer himself trained both naturally and on steroids and advocated for the effectiveness of this, particularly for when he was training naturally. The last thing, what if I enjoy the pump or I want to hit my muscles from different angles? Guys, I can assure you, number one, this has created quite a pump. I mean, my chest here is lit up from just doing that one combination of the set plus a couple warm-ups. You will definitely get a pump from this if you do it right and you exert that maximum intensity. The second thing though, good point. What about training from different angles? I like to hit my chest from all different angles. There's no saying that you're married to these two exercises. I even invited you, if you wanted to do a chest fly in the beginning if that's what you felt was a better exercise for you. I don't like the exercise. I think this is a better alternative that I showed you, but you could do that if you wanted to. You could go low to high if you wanted to, right? I just think that's a good protection for the anterior shoulder capsule, but you're gonna get the same protection down here. So you can hit the upper chest if you started out with a low to high. You could change that to an incline bench press. As a matter of fact, Mike liked it as an incline bench press. You can hit these exercises with a little bit less of a dogmatic approach as long as you're hitting the muscle from in complementary ways between your pre-exhaust and second set, and also doing it with that all-out required intensity. So the idea here, guys, is something you could explore. If you found the video helpful, I will cover more of these workouts for you. I will show you exactly in real time what it's supposed to look like, how you should be thinking about the workout as you're doing it, and what you should be trying to get out of it. And a one-set workout can sometimes come in really damn handy when you're looking to get results and you just don't have all that much time to do it. You don't have to sacrifice the results that you're looking for. Speaking of that, guys, if you're looking for supplements that will support your hard work, so you're not sacrificing your hard work in the gym, you can find them over at ATHLEAN-X, high-quality protein, pre-workouts, and also we have our programs over there as well, guys. If you found the video helpful, leave your comments and thumbs up below. What do you want to see next in the series? I'll do that. And also, if you haven't done so, click subscribe and turn on your notifications so you never miss a video from me in this series or any other when I put one out. All right, guys, good luck. You're going to need it.